With the thermoplate in hand, Jean-Francois had rushed to his room, time being in short supply. The plate had done its duty, having gently cooked the meat that Jean-Francois laid upon its flat surface. It was a situation far from ideal. He'd need to get a grill made when the chance would allow it, but it had enabled him to eat his fill. Feeling completely satisfied and perhaps even a little bloated from having had to eat so fast, Jean-Francois entered the classroom with the intention of lying down against the wall, forgotten in his little corner. Much to his dismay, however, as soon as every student had re-entered the room and the class could resume, he got the distinct feeling that it wasn't going to go well for him, as he could feel the glances shot his way by his fellow students. Right, I trust everyone has had time to get everything they needed to do accomplished? Good, let's resume with the presentations. Mr. Floor scanned over the room, seeing a rather low excitement level among his students. Well, I suppose I should address this sooner than later. I'm sure some of you may feel slightly inadequate right now, or perhaps not very confident in your own abilities. I've had a little chat with our recent arrivals, and there are certain circumstances that explain their level of advancement. It would perhaps be best if they explain this themselves, so you can hear it from the source. Mr. Florge ceded the floor to the humans, each getting up to go stand in front of the class. It reminded Jean-Francois too much of high school, where many of the projects had to be done while under the gaze of every one of your peers. Now, for most of you here, this is the first time you're in such a defined learning environment, isn't it? Mr. Flores said aloud to no one in particular. Nods of agreement from the various aliens confirmed his hypothesis. It then changed his attention to the humans. Barry, was it? How many cycles of schooling have you now undergone? Barry thought for a bit and used his fingers to count. If you count the early years, like before first grade, somewhere around 14 now. If I had stayed on Earth, I'd be looking at graduating in another 4 years. Shocked gasps from the class surprised the 4 humans. Amidst the outrage, some could be heard describing it as a life spent in the classroom. Others were calculating that it amounted to 1/4 of a human's life. You see, it's only natural that they have more experience with a learning structure like this one. Their education system does give them an advantage here, but it would not be feasible for many species, like the Noir, who only have a life expectancy of 40-odd years. Now, I hope Mrs. Maldron won't flame me alive for this, as it would fall under her purview, but history and culture are an important background for military teachings. Can you tell us a bit more about humanity's past wars and how it has affected your culture? While the others seemed to hesitate, Laura launched into an explanation. In some ways, we've always had conflicts. We've begun to be more unified lately, but we're still very fragmented into many nations. You're divided into clans, spoke up one of the students. Jean-Francois cleared his throat before replying. Well, you could say it's similar to that. Areas are broken down into countries which have defined borders. Every country has its own set of laws, language, religion, and culture. Can you describe some of these in regards to military subjects? Asked Mr. Florge. I'm not sure where you would want us to start either. There are many thousand years to go over. Laura was having difficulty imagining a starting point for human war. Wherever you feel is appropriate, was Mr. Florge's concise response. She decided to go at the very beginning and try to shorten it as much as she could. Having no natural weapons except some teeth, we've been killing each other with sticks and stones for thousands of years, simply holding them at arm's length and swinging. Then we added stones to the end of sticks, killing from further away at a safer distance. After that we thought, why not throw the pointy stick at our target, but then we found ourselves weaponless. So we made smaller sticks with sharp stones, but they weighed less, so we had to throw them faster. So we had to add flexible material to a curved wood piece, making bows. That was the standard for many thousands of years and really helped with hunting. Ha! Do you honestly expect me to believe you could chase down a 4-legged creature and kill it with a pointy stick? I could win a race twice by the time you're only halfway. The mocking came from one of the larger alien students, 4-legged and covered with fur. Laura's eyes gleamed in a sadistic way as if inviting the student to challenge her, gladly welcoming the chance to prove him wrong. Oh yeah, I heard something about this before, Barry recalled. The animals we hunted ran fast, but we would follow them at a jog. After we tracked them, they would run again, but we kept at it so they never had time to rest. Eventually they just sort of collapsed and we killed them. I think it was endurance hunting? Persistence hunting is the proper term, clarified Laura, slightly miffed she'd lost the chance to personally explain it. The colour drained from the alien's face, likely seeing how the scenario would unfold in his mind. Other techniques also used were traps, ambushing and game jumps. Uzumi's soft voice felt odd while listing the horrible things humans did to their prey. Seeing everyone was speechless, Laura continued. Anyhow, then we figured out how to melt and forge metal, covering ourselves in suits that arrows couldn't pierce. So we made metal swords that could go through the small cracks, or maces that would cave in the metal helmets. Then someone thought, what if we shot arrows even faster? So we used levers and pulleys to build up even more tension. That worked really well. So well in fact that one of the religious figureheads said it was too cruel and banned its use. Oh, and we were also building things out of stone during this time. But sometimes we had to destroy them because the enemy hid behind it, so we made large wooden arms that throw stones. We improved on that design a bit over the years using counterweights and different types of stones, until we figured out you could use a powder, light it on fire, and the controlled explosion would send the projectiles farther and harder. So in a way, humanity is 10,000 years of training and optimizing how to throw things. One of our favourite pets is being trained to fetch what we throw and bring it back to us in order for us to throw again. We're so good at throwing things that for some sports we force a handicap on ourselves and prevent the use of our hands. So after cannons, it took some time, but we figured out how to do that on a smaller scale that every soldier could carry. Then someone found out how to have the weapon shoot multiple bullets in rapid succession. This changed the way we did warfare. In the middle of this, we started making chemical weapons, bombs and rockets. What kind of predators are on your planet that you need bombs and rockets? Asked one of the students. Well, no, the weapons were for use against other humans, although there was that one emu war. Barry was trying to remember the exact details, but failed. Why were you fighting each other so much? Wouldn't it be more resource efficient to cooperate? Many other students also added their agreement behind this question. This one is a bit harder to explain. Human leaders have a long history of being corrupt, all the way back to our first kings. Another reason is location. Some areas have better living conditions or local resources. Add in a bit of religion and you've also got holy wars. By this point, everyone was so silent that you could hear a pin drop. A few seemed to have questions, but Mr. Florge decided to cut it short here. Well, that was quite insightful, thank you. That's all the time we have for now, however, so I'll let you all go. Next class we'll go over fleet formations, ship designs and roles. For those going to Steel Squadron, don't overdo it. The classroom cleared faster than the last day of school, and the humans found themselves mostly alone, barring 2 or 3 other students. Oh, hey, we mean to ask you, did you manage to cook? Barry seemed genuinely interested. Yeah, had to chow down really fast, but I'll be better prepared from now on. Tastes a bit like unseasoned pork. It's going to be a while before I can make 5-course meals, I think, but next on my list is getting hold of some seasoning and spices. Think about it, man. You're the first space chef. As Jean-Francois mulled over the fact that he was quite probably the first space chef, Lasona passed by the group as she was leaving class. Ready to go? The others nodded in agreement, fetching their bags. Hey, where are you going? Asked Jean-Francois, snapping out from his daydream. Oh, we got invited to the recreational facilities. Is it alright if Jean-Francois comes too? Barry asked Lasona. She thought about it briefly and seemed content. Why not? We'll be 6 if he comes, just enough to make 2 teams. The 4 followed the Sona to a large elevator where they all entered. Looking over the console, she pressed the topmost button. The elevator whirred to life and began its ascent. The doors opened, revealing a large domed area. Almost covered exclusively of windows or some see-through material, the dome was braced with another material, black and seemingly more rigid. From the windows, a flat surface extends for a few kilometers, the dome standing out in the middle of it all. Inside the dome, a lounge-like area with many seats, patches of grass and trees adorn the room. To top it all, a large swimming pool is contained in the middle. Wow, what is this place? This is the recreational facilities. Right now it's built for carnivores for 158 minutes, switching to herbivores after and repeating with 1 rotation in 3 closed for maintenance and cleanup. There's relaxation spots available for various preferences, swimming, and there's even a few other things to do up on the 2nd level. Lasona motioned to them to follow her, and they headed off towards a large set of horizontal doors. She took out a small card from her bag, swiping it at a console next to the doors. With a whoosh, the doors opened and they proceeded inside. Now inside more of a hangar than a lounge area, Jean-Francois noticed a large metal object held by multiple chains and surrounded by scaffolding. Wait, is that what I think it is? Definitely looks like a mech to me, man. Barry rushed off at a sprint towards the large metal construction, quickly followed by Jean-Francois. Laura shook her head, disappointment plainly obvious at her fellow humans. boys and their toys. But really, what is this, Lasona? This is one of the 4 stables for Steel Squadron here on Tarmina. This wing is sponsored by the Dwaidan. Would you like to play a little skirmish?